Krishna Samagnaya Yo Dharma Sthapanarato Viresham Tam Namamyam Viresham Tam Namamyam. My salutations to Vireshwara Shiva as Vivekananda, constantly immersed in the highest reality, a new Sri Ramakrishna. He is the one who is endowed with the effort to spread religion. Today we are celebrating Swami Vivekananda's birthday. The actual birthday will fall on Tuesday. We have a vast literature on Vivekananda. One of the most influential, you can say, psychologist, who also was associated with some monks of the Ramakrishna order, namely Carl Jung, in his book, Modern Man in Search of a Soul. He speaks about each person having two capacities. They're endowed with two capacities. One, the internal, and the other, the external. In many cases, the effort is external. But he says these external efforts and searches will not raise fundamental questions, nor answer fundamental questions. So he calls the inner search as culture, spiritual culture, or personality. We have, in the life of Swami Vivekananda, kind of draw little parallels with Bhagavan Buddha. So here we have Siddhartha born. And when all the astrologers came, the sages, they looked at the child and they said, he will be a great Chakravartin, that is, a great emperor. That if he takes on the other path, he will be also a great emperor, but he will rule people's hearts and minds. And we know how his parents, mainly his father, tried unsuccessfully to keep him in this external world. So before him, he had two visions. It's not that he was completely shut off from the inner world, because at the age of about 7 or 8, he did experience samadhi. Because in those days, there was a kind of something called the king had to go and first plow the fields. It's symbolic. During this big festival, they found a child merged in the highest bliss. So these two ideals were there, the inner world and the outer world. He could have been successful in both the worlds. When Swami Vivekananda was a child, now this happened, Buddha's story happened 6 centuries before Common Era. Vivekananda also, when he was a child, he used to, before falling asleep, two visions used to come in front of his mind's eye. One as a king. He had all the capabilities of realizing this. He would have been a great person. And then it used to switch, and the picture of a monk used to flash. This went for days and days, and always the monk always won over. So what I'm trying to arrive at, the capabilities in Buddha and in Vivekananda in pursuing two ideals, either one of them, of course, are there. And it's also there in our lives also. We know when he was a child, he used to meditate, and Sri Ramakrishna says he was perfected in meditation. One day he was sitting and meditating, saying his meditation got over, and there was, these experts in meditation, they feel a kind of a spiritual intoxication. He hadn't left his seat, and out of the wall emerged a calm-looking, beautiful, peaceful, radiant monk with the monk's water pot called Kamandalu, and with a staff, with the orange robe. And Vivekananda was a child. He looked at him, got frightened, and he ran out of the room. Then he caught himself. Why am I running out? Came back to find that that figure had vanished. Later on he says, I was blessed that day on seeing the vision of the Buddha. So here we have beautiful kind of both inner and outer world, the orientation either this side or that side. Swami Vivekananda says he was the greatest man ever born, Buddha. Swami Vivekananda himself was sometimes mistaken for a Buddhist, as they say. And in the Parliament of Religions, he spoke of Buddhism as a fulfillment of Hinduism. You have these two streams. When he used to meditate, he used to appear like the Buddha. And he spoke eloquently on Buddhism. Even I had a big problem. Not in the inner and outer struggle. Either take up Buddhism or take up Vedanta. So, which side to go? Then you know which side won over. So what are the common things? First thing, with Buddha, started the first missionary efforts in a religion. People say Indians, they are not missionaries. We were the real missionaries. Buddhism transformed through its monks and laity the whole of Asia. I mean, Asia is big, right down from what is called Greece, Turkey, till Japan. And just with soul power, with the tremendous morality, and with this intellectuality, not with sword and fire, and those guys are murderers. So here we have Buddha's soul force working out through these channels. Swami Vivekananda also, he said, I have a message for the West, like Buddha had a message for the East. So long Vedanta was, we had closed the doors. Out, get out, get out, get out. He was the one who unhinged the doors, broke them open to let Vedanta spill out. Because this was a time where Vedanta had to come out because the times were ripe. People had lost their souls. As Carl Jung was saying, you go this side in the external world, you have all these achievements, but you lose your soul. So life had become soulless. Vedanta had to come. And Swami Vivekananda says, it's not a first time. Every time the world is in a metaphysical crisis, out comes Vedanta to pour out its treasures, to save humanity. We have first this idea of the missionary Buddha and the missionary Vivekananda and how they travel and travel. We also have the first reorganization of the monks by Buddha. Yes, and that collective power spilled over the whole world, still working in the world. Vivekananda also, after Shankaracharya, again he reorganized the monastics. And so we have something called, we have these two great, you can say, icons now of this age. They are bringing out these secrets of the soul to those, to society that needs it now. So these were my two heroes when I was growing up. Now people say I had this hero and that hero, and they say, yeah, okay. These were my two heroes. Now, when allegiance to which one, you always have, which one is better? Both are equal. No, it's always, you will have one kind of favorite. And for many years I was in this dilemma. Who is my favorite? Until I read in the life of Swami Shivananda. Swami Arupananda was one of his attendants. That is Swami Shivananda's attendants. So he, in his book, in the Divine Realm, he also mentions that there was another attendant, Gangeshananda. So he was looking after Mahapurush Maharaj, and one of his duties was to slightly massage Swami Shivananda's head. And because he couldn't sleep during the night, he used to fall asleep during the day. So one day when Shivananda was asleep, Gangeshananda is massaging his head nicely, and they thought he is asleep. So he suddenly cries out in his sleep. And after he wakes up, then he's saying, why did you cry in your sleep? Babies, they cry in their sleep. So Mahapurush Maharaj said, did I cry? Said, yes. So I said, were you in pain? He said, no. What happened? I saw Vivekananda. He came. And his figure was so radiant and so majestic. And then he said, Tarakda, that is Shivananda's, you can say, pre-monastic Tarak. And Da is brother, Tarakda. Don't you remember? I came as a Buddha. and you came as Ananda, the play is over. Come away. And Swami Vivekananda disappeared. And that's why I gave out a cry. So my heart had now solved its problem. There was no conflict. It was that same Buddha who had come as Vivekananda. There. I could go on and on, but it's a remarkable thing. There is a need for this unification, this need for a greater cohesiveness, a need for gravitating within. Sri Ramakrishna, when he saw a streak of light emerging from Benares and falling down in Calcutta, he's saying, my man has come, my prayers have been answered. So here we have Shiva also intermingled. He knew, Sri Ramakrishna knew, that this will be my, you can say, message, carry the messenger. And the message was this, about this our inherent divinity and to orient us towards this. He was born to Bhuvaneshwari Devi and Vishwanath Datta in 1863. Amazing. When you go and see that same house now, the places where he used to sleep and work and play, he was hyperactive. That child had to have 2 nurses. He couldn't even sit down still. He used to, it's a cross between either sitting and standing, something like that. So my insides were vibrating. I felt so much energy there. And it was Ramakrishna who channelized all these energies for the good of mankind, for the good of humankind. And in celebrating Vivekananda's puja today, birthday, we are in a way trying to acknowledge not only their greatness, but also their message. I have a message for the West, like Buddha had a message for the East. He was confident. At one time, he's saying, I'm not going to do any kind of preaching. Sri Ramakrishna said, your very bones will preach. You can't get out of this. So here he came, he spent years and years traveling. Imagine, he even came here to Los Angeles. My God, he stayed here in South Pasadena, in the Vivekananda house. Sometimes you wonder, what was the purpose of his sitting down there quietly doing nothing? Oh. On one level, we see him living just like an ordinary person. But yes, there was something extraordinary about him. These people, they work on a very deeper level. And this is where we need to get into the deeper level. How do we get into the deeper level? By getting into our own deeper level. And this is how we will slowly understand Vivekananda and his contribution. It's going to run for thousands of years. We have just begun seeing the first signs how Vedanta can be applied and how Vedanta is raising humankind. This will be the icon of humanity. You see the Buddha immersed, deep, looking within. You see Vivekananda immersed, deep within. That's humanity, that's future humanity. Not with those big guns and the big muscles. Sorry. I think we've lost track of things, I think. This will be calm, collected, peaceful, immersed in one's own glory. This is essentially Vivekananda. And in celebrating Vivekananda, is a kind of, it's a feeling of gratitude, a feeling of love. We went through the whole day of singing, and so there are monks who are fasting, and there are monks who are praying, and they're all devotees, and then again after fasting, then we had a feasting. That is also part of that entire celebration. Religion was not supposed to be a long-faced affair. As if you got a pain in your kind of sides. Oh my God, horrible, terrible. Oh, what a torture. It's supposed to be joyous. Because that's the best thing that we know. Religion is there in your very soul. It has to slowly uncover. And we have Vivekananda today. Just a couple of days ago, we had a very great monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, who passed away. Yeah. One of his illustrations, beautiful illustrations, is a candle. They asked him, "Where will you go after you die?" So in his characteristic way, slow, he's saying, he smiles, and he gives an illustration of a candle. And the candle is burning, and it's burning, and it's burning. It gives light and heat. Where does the candle go? And it comes to the end. But before it has come to the end, it has already spread itself out. He's saying, I am going to spread myself in the people, in the community, amongst living beings. What a great, grand ideal of life is this. You're not burning yourself out. You're distributing yourself out. And this was what the great Buddha did. This was what the great Vivekananda did. This was what all the great sages and saints did of every culture and every religion. And if we have to live our lives, it's going to be like this. Keep on spreading it. You sublimate. You're not finished. Where does the candle go? Where does it lie? You distribute it. So think good thoughts which are tinged with that spirituality, with nobility, and you spread yourself out. Swami Vivekananda says, it's good to get outside my body to throw it off like a worn-out garment. But I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men everywhere till the world shall know that it is one with God. Here it is. This is a perfect life. These are the immortals. They are still with us. There is no doubt that the spirit that we felt today is the spirit of Vivekananda, of Buddha, of all the great sages and saints and everything there in our midst. It has been working in this world for thousands and thousands of years. And it will continue to work for thousands and thousands. Let us call, and till the sleeping soul awakes, he says. Let us call and call and call. This is what we need to awaken. He was called also the awakener of souls. This is Swami Vivekananda. And we could draw hundreds of parallels between them. But the idea is you get the message. And that's important. Try to be like that candle. With your thoughts, with your words and your deeds, spread yourself out. This is the way to immortality. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.
Om Namah Shri Jatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Sarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we are very much absorbed in the ideas of Buddha and Swami Vivekananda. It's a unique idea. And Swamiji his heart was actually Buddha's heart. Failed for the humanity, cried for the humanity, and died for humanity, for ameliorating the sufferings of humanity. He was a personality it is very difficult to understand. That's why Swami Vivekananda himself said that what Vivekananda has done, would there be another Vivekananda? He could have understood. And he said that what has been given, it will work for 1500 years. So it is the only beginning of the time. He has given a new channel in our day-to-day life. People used to know, Swami Vivekananda said that one will realize God by meditation and prayer. But I have created a new path, doing and working for humanity or God himself in the human being, people will be liberated. The karma idea lifted to the highest plane of practical Vedanta. That's a unique. So we normally, even we are conflicted now. When we get a chance, we say that we don't get any chance for meditation. True. So one that Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda, was talking in his with a conversation. See, Hari Maharaj is saying, is the work is less than meditation if you do Ramakrishna's work? And he has lifted the karma from the concept of karma. It is the concept of meditation at the same level as one can concentrate their mind and feels totally satisfied, so also one can serve the day-to-day duties of life, and by that one can realize the highest experience of the non-dual experience. And Swami Vivekananda injected that idea. He didn't speak. He would actually give. He said himself, do you think that I give mere lectures? I know I give them something solid which is retained there. He could transmit the energy, the spirit. That's why Swami Vivekananda's words are so powerful. Any part we take, we can feel the energy comes through. Swami Vivekananda used to, the kiddie, in the life of kiddie, he was not believe in God at that time. He was atheist. But Swami Vivekananda touched him, and then his total transformation came, and Kidi became the greatest friend and helper in Swami Vivekananda's mission for spreading his message in this new age. And this conflict, what are you talking about? That Kali Maharaj, once in the reminiscences of Swami Turiyananda, he says, once Kali, Abhedananda Swami told that when he used to speak, Swami Vivekananda used to speak, as if the Kundalini Shakti, the power, as if he is pulling them up and it is coming into the conscious plane, and the mind is to lift in a level of deep meditation and concentration. One day it happened that he was, after his speech, somebody said, let there be question answer. And then, but every person left after the talk. And then Swami Vivekananda said, why do you want question answer again to disturb their mind? They are in a high plane, high level, the higher level. This is Turiyananda Swami reminiscing. So, that is the power of Swami Vivekananda, and that power is still working, and he is teaching us that karma, the way we look at our karma, because we live mostly in our day-to-day duties and responsibilities, that can work is not work. Once Swami Turiyananda was talking about Swamiji, they said, oh, I am working in the hospital, in the Sevashram probably. I have no time, and day is going away, I have no meditation, nothing. Then Hari Maharaj said, did you not know what Swami Vivekananda taught us? That are you working for a patient? You are working for Narayana. That concept, that is the concept which Ramakrishna gave, and Vivekananda caught it, and they implemented in the life and has left it for us to follow and to make our life blessed. His uniqueness was that giving the ready, and another lesson, ready to attach, and in the next moment detach. This attachment, it seems when he is talking, when he is working, is such an attachment, it seems like he is more attached than anyone in the world, because what he says so emphatically, and do whatever he does as if that is the only thing. But at the second, in this next moment, he can detach himself. And that's why once it happened that Swami Vivekananda and Kali Maharaj, they were together in the New York, and he wanted to left the responsibility of the New York Center to Turiyananda Swami. And then giving that responsibility, Swamiji went to lecture someplace. And coming back, he says that, okay, you take responsibility. Kali Maharaj said, Abhedananda Swami said, Swamiji, you have come back, you take the responsibility of the center. He said, I have given you. I have given New York Center for you. For me, the whole world is waiting. So it is for you to manage this place, but for me, the whole world is open. And he used to push everyone and for the preaching of this Vedanta. And when he created this monastery, Belur monastery, we find that it was his dream to create a center from where the spiritual wave, the spiritual vibration will flood the whole world, and people all over the world for centuries and thousands of years will be benefited. That was the starting of the center in Belur Math. But when he created, and one day he signed everything in favor of all the direct disciples, there is total everything, and he became a penniless fakir. And then as Ramakrishna said, I've become a fakir by giving away all my energy to you, Naren. Naren, he poured himself into Naren, no? He said, and his tears were rolling down in the eyes of Ramakrishna. And Ramakrishna said, Naren said, what happened? I have become a fakir, beggar, penniless, by giving away all my treasure, what I have earned. So here also, Swami Vivekananda's whole life's dream and everything, and he just gave it away. And he said, and he, surprising, he used to not take any expense from the mott. He used to have his own expenses in his own money. But anyhow, that the brothers looked upon him as the guide. So, and he never became even the president. He was not a member. He gave all the authority to the trustees, make all the direct disciples. That is the idea of detachment. You know, this is the ideal for this generation, how to work also. We get attached to our activity. We do something and we feel so much connected with it, that is, I cannot give up. In this country, in every country, we call it copyright. No? Even I write one paragraph, then that is my copyright. But see, Swami Vivekananda, he is totally giving away everything for the good of others, and he himself withdrawing. That is the beautiful aspect of Swami Vivekananda's idea we can take. And this Swamiji used to bring all types of people to Ramakrishna. He is a lover of humanity who is not a good person or is not able to stand, but he has so many defects, but he will pull him and bring him to Ramakrishna. And Ramakrishna said, you don't understand the nature of these people. You bring all types of people, the lame, the blind, and all types of people. But he will bring and he will force him. So you will have to bless him. And Hajra was one such. So he forced him to give blessings. And Hajra sitting over there criticizing Ramakrishna day and night. But it is Naren is a good fan and supporter of Hajra all the time. Whatever Naren Ramakrishna says, no, you do not know, that rogue does not go to mom and does not take care of it. And he will give some justification for. One day it happened, Ramakrishna told all the direct disciples, all the disciples who were there. So Ramakrishna was a little mad with a lady who maybe did something wrong or something, and said no one should go to her house and have any food or anything to do with her. And Swamiji felt so bad. Okay, so after this was the verdict of Ramakrishna, and Naren was there and others. So one day, Naren asked to Swami Shivananda, Tarakda, let us go. And he took and went to that lady and said, Ma, please prepare some good meal. And she was so happy. And then she prepared the meal and filled them. And then after eating there, then he came to Ramakrishna and said, we went to her house and we had a good meal there. Sri Ramakrishna said, you went there? Yes, I told not to go. But you know, his compassion. So he'll make Ramakrishna to bless these people who are not up to that standard of their life. So we can find that this Swami Vivekananda is not a man, as we are talking, as Swami talked about Buddha's heart. His heart pleads for Buddha like a love, unconditional love for humanity, and particularly Swamiji's idea, if a Brahmin boy needs one teacher for his education, a boy who has no such scope, opportunity, he needs 4 teachers to help. So we should go for more help for those who are in this crying situation. One day, Swamiji was so compassionate, so one day someone has come to join in the monastery, and Swamiji was in favor of taking him. But others were not very eager, because they understood that this boy is not very good to monastic life or something. But Swamiji said, this compassionate feeling, how it expresses in different ways. Swamiji said, you know, I have not that insight. Ramakrishna could see see in, through them, through looking at someone, could see what is there inside. But I have no insight, so you people have insight probably. So if you have insight, you decide what to do. But for me, I have no insight, so out of my feeling it goes that let him be given a chance. And actually, so everyone yielded to that. And that boy was admitted into the monastery. But of course he could not stay afterwards. But Swamiji's heart, we are looking at that even he is saying, oh, you have insight, so you can see the boy is good or bad, can be taken or not, rejected, and all this you can do. But I have not that insight like Ramakrishna, who is saying, Vivekananda is saying this, but giving a great compassion, this love, as we are hearing about the expansion, no? Swami Vivekananda's idea, expansion is life, no? Expansion. And that expansion will be, it will touch all the hearts of all people. That's Vedanta. Going where to go? Who are these people? Whom you are giving service? Whom you are serving? Or who you are doing any good to anyone? It is God in the human form. So that was his idea, percolated into any action and every action. That's why we find that this lesson, that meditation, karma, are all Vivekananda gave a boosting into their feeling in our awareness that there should not be discrimination between these two ideas. Work itself, no work. There is no work. Every work is service, every work is seva. And he did himself every bit of life. And he used to cry, Hari Bhai, I am dying out of doing, working day and night. And will you not help me? Will you be meditating in your own life, and I will die this way? So that's why Hari Maharaj was engaged from meditation to the active life and bringing in Vedanta movement in this country. So we find that Vivekananda's heart is something which is Buddha, and also is not only Buddha. Swami has not mentioned that. Yeah, okay, hinted it is Buddha and Shankara. Heart of Buddha and the brain of Shankara. Such intelligence, such searching, penetrating, analytical mind, and finding the truth can be found in Shankara. So two, Shankara's brain and Buddha's heart combined together, that was Swami Vivekananda. But whatever we say, it is nothing to describe him. Only, even as we heard that, the description that Tarak Maharaj, having the vision of Swamiji. And that Swamiji is who? Who is that Swamiji? It is beyond all, even gods and goddesses realm behind that, if you go to philosophical aspect or the spiritual aspect of it. But as a human manifestation, such person never born, who have dedicated his life for the good of all and given us so much food and nurturing that we can make our every breath spiritual. There are enough instances in his own life and is in the life of what he built up the life of others who came under his guidance. So we pray to Swami Vivekananda today. Is a special day that to think of him more. As much as you think of Vivekananda, in whatever way, that will bring good to us. As a lover of humanity, as an Vedanta preacher, as a person who is steeped in meditation, in whichever aspect we like, if we take Swami Vivekananda, it will bring great good in our life. I pray for the grace and blessings of Swamiji. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. One announcement for our food drive. So we will request you, the devotees, to come forward, and you can issue some check in favor of Vedanta Society, and that will go to the food bank, and they are serving so many poor people. So those who have done, that's good. If you have any other wish, you can send the check to Vedanta Society's name, and we will collect together and send it. And Mahayogananda will announce a little more?
Not much more to tell.
That's
That Swami Vivekananda, he felt so much for people who don't have enough food to eat. They're hungry here in Los Angeles. So every year we go to Vivekananda food drive, and the last 2 years we're doing it only virtually. Means we're not actually collecting food and bringing it. We're collecting funds, and we send it to the um, Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, and they also were very well connected. When we give them $1, they can get a lot more than we can get for $1 because it's kind of bulk purchases and all that. So it's actually a nice way to serve the divine in hungry people in Los Angeles.
Yeah, today's situation, you see around, it is much more in need, no? Particularly those who are homeless and those in suffering. At least we can do something little bit whatever we have within our range. At least if we have nothing, we can go and pray to the Lord to take some bit of their suffering to off from their load of life. Thank you all. So we'll have now the evening prayer, and then as usual we'll have our little relic stretching, and then we end today. Thank you. of our program today. So you are all invited to take some prasad.